Zone, where you can catch top music videos, many of which you probably haven't seen before. I'm Becca, and Mike is out in our studio audience ready to kick it off. Mike, are you causing trouble still?
Too much trouble. I mean, I can't help it. But yeah, about those videos. I got some great stuff tonight. Michael W. Smith, Jars of Clay, and Carolyn Aarons, as well as our power clip of the week is Stacey Orico, and she good. But we're also going to be talking about some stuff tonight, some uncomfortable things like temptation and the consequences that follow when we give in to those temptations and things of the such. So, but up first, Dave is going to be telling us what's coming up first. Right, Dave?
That's right, Mike. Thank you. Are you sure? All right. Well, up first, our first video is from a singer who's also a songwriter. He says that the messages in his song are the things that really God is dealing with him. So as we go to Michael W. Smith and Love Me Good, right here on The Zone!
Sometimes I feel like this world is just one big gigantic merry-go-round. Gotta hold on tight or you get hurled through the air. Yeah, life is a three-ring circus with clowns and freaks and camels and such. You never know when you might be attacked by the bears. Give me love, love me good. Give me love. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Love me good. Give me love, love me good. Give me love. Give me love, love me good. Love me good. Sometimes I feel like I'm afraid of my own shadow, and then sometimes I can feel as bold as Genghis Khan. But I can never live in a yurt on a diet of Mongolian barbecue. I conquer the world for a moment, then the moment is gone. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Love me good. Give me love, love me good. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Oh, you gotta love me. Give me love, love me good. Love me good. Give me love, love me good. Love me good. Give me love, love me good. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Let us take a moment now to bow our heads and pray. If only to give thanks for making it through another day. Sometimes I wish I was in a movie or some 70s TV thing where everything gets neatly wrapped by the end of the show. Yeah, but this ain't Hollywood, and this sure ain't the Brady Bunch. And how this plot's gonna all pan out, I don't really know. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Love me good. Give me love, love me good. Give me love, give me love, love me good. Love me good. Oh, love me good. Give me love, love me good. I need your love. Love me good. Oh, you gotta give me love. Love me good. Love me. I give my love to you, you give me that good. I give my love to you, you give me that good. I give my love to you, you give me that good. I give my love to you, you give me that good. Love me good. Yeah, yeah. Love me, love me, love me good.
Hey, we're back in the zone. That was Michael W. Smith with Love Me Good. As you can see, Michael spares no expense when it comes to doing his productions. Shot in New York's Chinatown. Michael has this definite choir, gospel, world beat vibe, whole thing going on, which is pretty cool. But let's get into tonight's topic, which is temptation and consequences. No, that's not temptation or consequence. It's Dominic and Christina. And I was talking to them, and they were telling me what their temptations have been. So, Dominic, tell me again, what was your temptation?
I was walking home from school one day, and I found a pack of cigarettes on the side of the road. And I was tempted to smoke them, but I took them home, and my mom threw them away in the garbage.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, that's a temptation that too many people get into, and it smells bad when they do. And Christina, what was one of your temptations?
Lying, because it is the easy way out, but I try to take responsibility for my actions.
Oh, that's good. Not enough people do take responsibility for their actions. I know I don't oftentimes. But the thing about temptation is everybody has it. Everybody faces it. Everybody feels it. Even Jesus felt it, although he did not succumb to it. But temptation is not bad. It's not dirty. It does not make you dirty. Everybody feels it. Everybody faces it. But the bad things happen and the negative things start occurring when you give into those temptations and you don't let God have those and give it up. So, but anyway, we're going to talk about a little bit more later. And Becca's going to hand us off what's going to happen now. So, Becca.
Well, Mike, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back with music from Carolyn Aarons and our power clip of the week from Stacy Orico. I just like saying the name. So, keep it here. Hey there, thanks for joining us out there. But you could be in here in our studio audience. If you, your friends, youth group, teammates, organization, whatever, want some airtime with us, give us a call and we'll hook you up. It's 221-4888, area code 513. But now we're going to toss it to Dave, who's going to talk a little more about temptation and its consequences.
Thanks, Becca. We are going to talk about that, and I think it's really a good subject to talk about this, because as humans, we're all tempted to maybe cheat, maybe to do something bad, and but let's talk about the consequences of that. Over here, I have Amber and Amanda and Harley, and we're going to talk about that. What happens when we yield to temptation? What are really the consequences, Amber, for you?
One of my main consequences is feeling the disappointment of my parents, because I love them to death and I hate when they're disappointed with me. And then I hate facing what I've done wrong with God and having to tell him.
That's good. So you have a conscience that you listen to.
Yes.
That's good. And I think your parents appreciate that too.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, Amanda, what do you think? What happens when we yield to temptation, and what are the consequences for you and your family?
Well, when you yield to temptation, you can hurt your friends, your family, and God, and your relationship between you and God. And God yield to him. He paid the consequences of losing his life. And I had an uncle who paid the consequences of drinking and driving, and he lost his life.
I'm sorry to hear that. And over here we have Harley. Harley, talk to us.
All right. Well, the consequences of temptation is that you can hurt your friends, your family, your church, your youth group, and as well as your best friend, God.
That's good. There are always actions. There are always consequences for our actions, right? And it's like temptation always looks really good, like a commercial that you see. It always looks like that, boy, I really want that product. And then when you buy it, sometimes you feel like you get ripped off. Temptation is a lot like that, in that it's deceiving at first, and then it gets us. But you know what we do have on this program tonight is to tell you that there is a way out. We're going to talk about that coming up later on tonight on The Zone. Right now, we're checking with Mr. Mike. Tell us about the next music video.
Thank you, Dave. Right now, we are going to be looking at a video by Carolyn Aarons. She's given us other folksy and catchy songs like Seize the Day and Go With God. But right now, we're going to be checking out I Can Hear You right here on The Zone.
Thank you.
watch out in the alley. Mr. Marley's problem with the looking. Birdie singing, telling me to get up. Such a soothing sound floating on the wind. I just keep listening. Funny how you speak to me in such mysterious ways, and I can hear you. I can hear you. It's so amazing how your voice keeps breaking through, and I can hear you. There's a church bell ringing out the hour, like an old friend calling through my window, with the laughter of the children playing on the road. You got a way of getting my attention, in the rhythm of life everywhere I go. So now you let me know. If I'll only stop to listen, you're in everything, and I can hear you. I can hear you. It's so amazing how your voice keeps breaking through, and I can hear you. It's so amazing how your voice keeps breaking through. I can hear you. I can hear you. It's so amazing how your voice keeps breaking through, and I can hear you.
My name is Christina. Thanks for joining us in the Zone. Here's Mike.
Thanks, Christine. But you just saw Carolyn Aarons with I Can Hear You. Not bad for Canadian, eh? Just kidding. Becca's going to be telling us now what's going on with Don Gibson and the Live Zone reports. So, Becca.
She got a chance actually to go out and interview Adrian Green, who has some very personal experiences with temptation and, of course, consequences. She shares that with us, so you're not going to want to miss this. Take a look.
The woman that you will meet in tonight's story is the perfect example of how God can take a life and the circumstances therein and use them for His glory.
Meet Adrian Green, a young woman who is full of life, but there was a time when Adrian suffered miserably because of the choices she made. Adrian grew up in a home with moral values and in church where she learned right from wrong. However, she has said that she felt as if she was missing out and needed a taste of life despite the warnings.
I began to have sex when I was 17. I started drinking a lot and doing drugs at that time and in college. Here I am now. I've experienced sexually transmitted disease. I'm a divorced woman. You know, a lot of pain and a lot of things that I have gone through could have been avoided had I listened to my pastor or to the Lord or to my heart that was saying, you know, hey, protect your sexuality, be respectful of other people by not engaging them in this behavior too. Don't choose to drink and do drugs. Just stay on the narrow path because you will get to where you want to go quicker, and it's a better reward than the outcome and wearing the scars on your back like I do.
But Adrian finally did listen, and now she's sharing her story with those who she hopes will listen and learn from her mistakes. Adrian speaks through different outlets, including high schools, as a result of her organization called Talk Out Ministries, which began 5 years ago.
I just decided I've done everything wrong and I want to do things right, and what I know to be right is what God has in mind. And so I started really seeking the Lord, and Talk Out Ministries came about. And it turns out that I have a lot of things that are applicable to the world, not just the church, although initially I was just called to the church, to bringing this message to the youth in the church. But here we are in Bellevue High School, and so God's bringing me this message and His message to the youth of the regular world. And that's where I lived, and that's where my scars came from.
This group of students at Bellevue High were listening closely to Adrian's story. They have seen the explicit sexuality in our culture and know that the consequences of acting out on those temptations are real.
I think like everything's an impact on people. They see it on TV and they think it's like good and all that, but then they have a real life situation here on how it affected her. So then they're like, wow, this really isn't everything the TV makes it up to being. And then it's reality, like slaps them in the face when they see something like this.
Yeah, I think that people in our school are really big with having sex because they feel they need it to make themselves whole. And like we try to make an example that you really don't. Just the camaraderie is enough.
Some students say they will not only pay attention to what they've heard for themselves, they will also share with others.
It helps kids, even though they may not get to hear Adrian, they may hear her through us.
Adrian turned her heart towards God, and He was able to take her scars and use them for His glory. So many people have those same scars, but just as with Adrian, there is hope and healing for the future.
But on the good side, I'm seeing kids who are open to hearing about God and about the plan He has for their lives. They're open to growth, really mature growth at a really young age, because they have to, really. It's a sink or swim thing, and it always has been. You know, high school's tough, but now more than ever, there's a lot of pain in the world and in these kids' lives. They have divorced parents, they have difficult situations going on all around them, challenges that we never faced. I'm 32. And the kids are having to grow up more quickly, but they're developing a deep spiritual walk more quickly too, and God's pouring out His Spirit on them, which is real encouraging to me.
For more information on Adrian and Talk Out Ministries, check out the website at puritypoints.com.
For more information about The Zone or how you can be a part of our studio audience, call us at 513-221-4888 or just email us.
Prepare to face a brand new day. You hide yourself behind that mastermind, you're in disguise. It's as if you try to put a mask on.
God, Jesus? Just a question from Love and Faith Christian Fellowship.
Ouch.
So what's on your mind? You just won't speak about it, think about it, be about it. Gotta make yourself aware that you're gonna stray. You're trying so hard to fit in. What you need is something genuine. What you want is something real. What you need is something truthful. I know you do, I know you do, I know. is gone and you prepare to face a brand new day. You hide yourself behind that mastermind, you're in disguise. It's as if you try to put a mask on your pain. You don't know who you are, what you're about, where are you now? You're becoming someone that you don't want to be. You're trying so hard to fit in. What you need is something genuine. Something real. What you need is something truthful. I know you do. I know you do. I know you do. Because I need it too. What you want? What you want? What you need? What you need? Something genuine. And he loves you for who you are now and who you will be. Don't fear living in truth, there's reality. I don't have all the answers, but I know one who does. And I know there's freedom and truth. I go and because what you need is something genuine. I know you do. What you need is something truthful. What you need, what you need, what you want, what you want. Something genuine. Who he is, someone real. What he is, something truthful. It's what he has, it's who he is. It's what he gives, and I need him too. What you want, what you want.
Dave, I have to ask you now. Everyone else, or at least a lot of them, got to answer this question. How about you? How do you deal with temptation when it hits?
Well, you know, the funny thing was what a little earlier you were talking to, what was the girl's name again?
Shalia.
Shalia. She said something that I really felt that God was saying to me tonight, is when you feel like you're about to do something really wrong and you hear that little voice in your heart or in your head that tells you not to do that. I just think what I try to do is I try to listen to that voice, because that's the voice of God telling me that I shouldn't be doing something that's dishonest or lustful or cheating or doing something bad, because God wants me to do the right things.
Amen.
All right? Thanks, Mike.
Oh, I would love to thank our audience tonight.
And for those of you at home, we'd invite you back next week the same time right here on WCPO Channel 9. We're glad that you're there. And don't forget to join us next week